Good evening and welcome to our virtual family council meeting. My name is Jamie Rose. I'll be your meeting coordinator. We're just going to review our confidentiality reminder at this time. Please refrain from using the name of your loved one. Do not name specific facilities. Please use a nursing home or the personal care home to present to the group. If you need specific assistance, please use the chat feature to state which county you are in, and we will get you connected to your assigned ombudsman. And just a reminder, these calls have public access and are designed for family members and friends of residents in long-term care facilities. So our meeting agenda this evening, we're going to get our virtual meeting tips from Jay, and then we're going to turn it over to Candy to introduce our peer panel for this evening and discuss their upcoming advocacy project. So I'll turn it over to Jay.
Thank you, Jamie, and welcome everybody. You've all been placed on mute upon entry. We'll open the lines in a bit so that you're able to share. If you would like to speak or have a question, please use the raise hand feature. Once you raise your hand, we'll know to acknowledge you and unmute your line. If you hover your mouse near the bottom of your screen, you'll see the Participants tab. That can be expanded if you would like to see that. The chat feature is at the bottom of your screen as well. Once you maximize that, you will be able to chat with presenters or others during the meeting. Closed captioning is available. If you press the CC button at the bottom of your screen, you can enable the closed captioning. If you need to step away, you can stop sharing your camera by clicking on the camera icon at the bottom of the screen. You can click on it again to start sharing your camera again. And finally, concerns or complaints can be directed to me at the State Ombudsman Office. My number 717-783-8975, or you can send an email to capital LTC-ombudsman@pa.gov, G-O-V. Jamie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay. Without further ado, I will turn it over to Candy Schreffler, our Regional Ombudsman Specialist and our Peer State Coordinator.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. I'm so happy to be here today. Today, we are going to talk about a project that we are doing statewide, and it is an advocacy project, and it is for the Personal Needs Allowance project. I'm going to explain a little bit of what that means and also a little bit of the history of it. It's pretty interesting. So the Personal Needs Allowance is a dollar amount that our residents who receive SSI while residing in long-term care are allotted to spend on anything they would like to buy. However, that includes things that we all take for granted each and every day, such as brand name personal hygiene items, a newspaper subscription. Our folks in personal care, that would be co-pays for their prescriptions, cable TV fees, cell phone bills, special snacks, probably even soda if you like to drink soda. I'm going to say that because I drink Diet Pepsi nonstop, and that would be my entire allowance for sure. 45 for sure. I mean, that would it. The list is a mile long. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that today, but I want to talk about a little bit of the history with this Personal Needs Allowance. So the Personal Needs Allowance in nursing homes and personal care homes, but we're going to talk mostly about the nursing home today, just to keep it simple with the numbers and everything. It was first authorized in 1972 by the Social Security Act amendment, in which residents who were on Social Security income received $25 a month. So back in 1972, they received $25. Then in 1987, yay, that's the year I graduated from high school, the Omnibus Reconciliation Act of 1987, federal government contributed $30, all right, for an increase. So PA receives that $30 from CMS and Social Security for each Medicaid eligible nursing home resident in Pennsylvania. And then PA supplements the additional $15 for for a total of $45 per person a month. Our residents that reside in long-term care, oh boy. Sorry about that. That's my dogs. They decided to work. Obviously, my dog Harry is feeling okay now. So our residents have not had a raise since 1987. That's crazy. The PNA money varies from state to state. And currently the highest state is Minnesota. They receive $89 and the lowest is Virginia and Missouri at $30. So they don't add anything that the federal government gives them. So in April of 2016, some of you may be aware that the Ombudsman Office started this project. The peers were the spearheaded this advocacy project to advocate for a raise in this much needed fund. There were 5,200 surveys filled out. However, they didn't do anything with them because they wanted the goal to be 10% of all the residents that reside in long-term care. So they were still working on it. Well, we all know what happened then. March 2020, the pandemic hit. So to no one's surprise, that survey went on the back burner, and we were dealing with bigger fish to fry, shall we say. So then we started coming out of the pandemic, and I noticed in these peer meetings, we started hearing the peers bring that up again. And we knew that this was something that we wanted to reboot again. We heard our residents, and that leads us to now. That is 2023 now. After deliberation with the peer advisory committee, it was decided to do a fresh reboot. They looked over what we did in the past, and they decided they wanted to do something cleaner and fresher, and just keep those surveys that were done in the past, but maybe make it a little more streamlined. So as you are all aware, since then, prices during the pandemic skyrocketed, and yet our residents are still receiving the same amount of money as in 1987. So it's needed now more than ever. There are some very interesting statistics that I want to share with all of you. And this is according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. $1 in 2009 is equivalent to the purchasing power of $1.40 today, an increase of 40 cents in 14 years. The dollar had an average inflation rate of 2.44 per year between 2009 and today. That's insane. A cumulative price increase of 40.23%. A dollar today only buys 71% of what it did back then. So that leads us to what we're doing now. All right. Yeah, I know, Jamie, it is really crazy. So our first step that we've already started, and that's what we're going to talk to our peers and our resident council presidents and see where that's going, is to distribute a simple survey that we will pull up on the screen in a second. Jamie, excellent. So that is the survey. If you want to go to the next part. So this is the actual survey that our peers and resident council presidents are literally doing all the legwork on. Before the ombudsman had the survey filled out, and there was a lot of writing, what our goal is this time is for the ombudsman to get these surveys into the hands of our strong advocates that are right in the facilities, and have them talk at resident councils, talk to the new residents that are coming in. They are literally the boots on the ground for the majority of this, and that's what makes it so perfect. I am just thrilled about that. So as you can see, we want the name of the resident, the facility, the county, and then the local ombudsman contact. After they're filled out, it's our hopes, when we've got a lot back so far, that they are going to go right back to the ombudsman, and the ombudsman's going to send them in hard copy to Jay. What are we going to do with all this? But if you look at that actual survey, we really wanted to make sure, the peers wanted to make sure that people, when they read this, and for all of you that are on the virtual family council, family members, some of these things may seem like, oh, what do you mean denture adhesive? Seems simple, right? But it's not for somebody that gets $45 a month. television charges from the facility, cell phone charges. And then we wanted to, peer Terry wanted the comment section because she mentioned about, what about I used to knit all my life. Now I can't do that. And so we wanted that comment sections for residents to talk about other things. And yes, we do have new undergarments on them. Why we have that? Because we've been told from peers from across the state that they literally, when they need clothes, have to go to the reserve that they keep in the facility. And people have used other people's underwear because they can't afford to buy their own. So we wanted this to be effective. So it's so very sad. It's so terrible. And number 4 is especially, I like that question. Are you unable to participate in facility activities or outings that require you to pay independently? Why that's important is because the facilities are getting out and about. They're going to Walmart, they're going out to eat, they're doing shopping, they're doing all kinds of things now. The residents have to pay for that out of their own money. So that question is very important. So are they unable to do these things because of that very little money that they have? I'm going to shut. I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. They're being terrible. They never do this. Do you need to ask family members or friends to purchase items due to a current PNA stance? To me, that is an actual dignity issue. Somebody that has worked hard all their life, they have to ask their daughter, their son, their granddaughter, can I have $20 so I can go to Walmart? All right. Okay. Thanks, Jamie. So that's why this survey, these are right now in the hands of our peers. And we're going to talk about that with our peers and our resident council presidents that are on. So we're getting this simple survey out to the hands of them. And we feel like this is a way to also empower our residents. This is their project and they are the ones in the facility and they are already stepping up to the plate. Now there might be some facilities that an ombudsman does do it and we're hoping to get volunteers. This is a perfect project for those volunteers, not to really go in and do that themselves, because we really don't want that if they're strong residents, but to actually facilitate to get these surveys into the hands of strong residents, strong resident council presidents, strong peers, and then turn them back in. All right. So imagine not being able to purchase some of these simple items that are on this form. All right. So what are we going to do with all that? Jay knows. So all these are coming back to Jay and we're keeping track of all these statistics and we're asking for them back. I forget what the date is in August. We may extend it. This is all, it's ongoing. So this was the first step in this. Then we're going to calculate, thank you, Jamie, August 15th. We're going to calculate what we have. It is our hope that at that time that all counties will be represented, that we can say when we do this presentation, every county in Pennsylvania has been represented. And then we're going to be putting together a presentation. Jamie, Eliza, and myself, we want to do videos with peers and presidents about this project, what it means to them, what they can't buy. We want those videos just like we did the resident council, not the resident council, the peer resident rights videos. We want it to be effective like that because we found that they were so effective hearing right from the peers. And we're going to compile those statistics. We're going to have a lot of comparisons. What was the exact date? 1987 to now. What are the prices? You even look at like a stick of deodorant, a Suave deodorant. I believe it was 88 cents back then, and now it's like ridiculous prices. And we're going to have it's going to be a whole presentation we're going to do. And as well as the history of the other surveys that we had. Then phase 3, after we get that done, hopefully will be to get this out to the legislators and get our residents talking to these legislators and people in government to and really be effective with this presentation. So that is that. So that is basically the history. Any questions on that before we turn it over to our panelists? All right, I'm going to introduce, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say we had some very positive comments in the chat.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. Great. Did you want to say, did you want to read them to anybody, or just that they're all positive?
Oh, I think just that they're positive. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Carol. So now I'm going to turn it over to Eliza Whedon, who is going to introduce our panelists for the evening. She runs the statewide resident council president meetings. And Eliza.
Hello, everybody.
Hold on. You can advance, Jamie.
Okay, so our first panelist that we have this evening is Audrey Bradley. Audrey is a resident at the Lutheran Home at Hollidaysburg. After high school, Audrey received her nurse training from Mercy Hospital School of Nursing. As a nurse, she worked in labor and delivery and at the state school in Crescent. After 25 years in nursing, as she was working towards her bachelor's degree in nursing, she decided to change her educational focus to become a teacher. After graduation, she joined the staff at the Bishop Carroll High School, where in addition to teaching, she was also responsible for plays and musicals. Audrey states, "I love theater and music. This position is a great fit for me." Audrey stated, after 10 years at school, she and her husband relocated to South Carolina.
Whoops.
After Audrey interviewed for an English teacher position.
You okay, Dan?
The move brought them closer to their daughter, but after 5 years, she retired from teaching and the couple returned back to Hollidaysburg. Audrey moved to the Lutheran Home at Hollidaysburg 7 years ago to heal and recover after an accident. It didn't take long for the lifelong learner to continue to find new ways to expand her knowledge and joy for the arts. She became a peer volunteer to assist other residents. PEERS stands for Pennsylvania's Empowered Expert Residents. They are individuals living in long-term settings who have been trained to advocate for improving the quality of life in homes. She completed 10 hours of trainings to be a peer volunteer. Audrey said, "I love learning. I enjoyed every path and have not done anything that I haven't enjoyed." Our next panelist is Bill Hoffer. William Bill Hoffer was born in Harrisburg and grew up in Middletown, Pennsylvania, where he graduated from Middletown Area High School, go Blue Raiders, and graduated from ITT Tech with a degree in computer science. He worked for the Worldwide Tech Services and holds Microsoft certification, and in addition is Dell, HP, Levano, and Network Plus certified and Security Plus. He grew up in the Boy Scouts of America, leaving him with a lifelong love for camping, hunting, hiking, and fishing. The Boy Scouts also left him with a need to serve others. In December 2022, Bill became a peer, again, Pennsylvania's Empowered Expert Residents at Riverview Nursing and Rehab Center, where he resides. He acts as the head of peers at the facility and works closely with the president of Resident Council. He has also been a professional actor at the PA Renaissance Fair. During his time there, he was a member of the performance team of the Lebanon County Improv Academy. In his downtime, Bill loves reading, and in particular, science fiction, especially, and I apologize in advance if I mess this name up, Asimov, H.G. Wells, and Annie McCaffrey being on the top of the list. He and his wife, Judy, will be married for 20 years on September 26th. And although he has no children or pets, he has a love for baby goats that sometimes come into their facilities. And then lastly, we have Dan Davenport. His full name is Dayton Dan Davenport. He was born and raised in a little town in Connecticut. and graduated from Morgan High School in Clinton, Connecticut. He has lived in Shakshini, Pennsylvania since 1974. He was the president of the union at a modular home company where he would retire after 24 years of service. Dan is the eldest son of 7 children, and he loves the outdoors, having played football, basketball, and baseball. He also loved to hunt and fish. Dan was always an advocate, and for the past year has held the position of resident council president at Bonham Nursing Center in Stillwater, Pennsylvania, where he now resides. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so now we are going to get the discussion going with our peers. We want to talk about this project with them. So the first question I want to ask them is, why is this project so important to you and your fellow residents? Audrey?
Because I don't think it's right that I worked on 2 degrees. I was employed from the time I was 14 years old. And I have to ask my daughter to buy me deodorant. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the way it was designed.
Yeah, that's right. That's a very good point. Very, very good point, Audrey. It can be, like I said, a dignity issue, asking
Yes.
somebody for money. Bill, what are your thoughts on this? Why is this project so important to you and your fellow residents?
Well, I'm a recent person who got disabled and
Okay,
Medicaid, and literally by I buy anything. I get a haircut and half it's already gone. And if that's happening with me, what about someone else who may be on a fixed income? You know, we need to stand up for ourselves. 87 to now and no raise. Inflation now is so horrible. They have to raise it for us. There's no way we can survive this way.
I agree. That's a very good point. Now, Dan, we'd like to hear from you. Why is this project so important to you and your fellow residents? What does it mean to you to be doing this? You're going to have to unmute, Dan. You had a little bit of background noise.
Okay, yeah, it's all important to me because, like they said, inflation grew so much, and families can't even afford for themselves, never mind afford for people that's in their nursing facilities.
That
For
is an
their own
outstanding.
mothers, fathers, grandparents, they can't, of all the people they would want to do it for, they can't.
That's a good point that you're just making that I'm going to talk about. Is there does anybody hear background noise? No?
I hear it.
Okay, so that's a very good point, because not only are you, but other people, your family members, were also affected by the sky high inflation. So their money that they have is limited as well. Okay, that's a really, really good point. So Audrey, can you tell us how you're actively working on this project?
I meet every new resident when they come in here. I've met with all the ones that were here.
Right.
And every new one that comes in, I speak with them, tell them what this is. First of all, nobody ever notified us that we ever got anything from the state. Not at all. I didn't know it until Stacy came and I became a peer.
That's unbelievable. So you weren't even aware that there was a person.
No,
No, that's terrible.
ours is just taken and used.
which there,
And
that's
they
absolutely
don't
not
even, and they
acceptable.
don't even know that we get that my two daughters supply me with all my personal needs.
Right.
And they
So,
do it because they're my daughters.
right. But like I said, it shouldn't be that way because even, I mean, people's financial, people's financial situations change and their bills are going up. It's crucial that we get this done for all of you. Bill, have you been out doing this project at all?
I have been trying, but our administrator and Patrice, who's our activity director, who Susan Drake has talked to, there seems to be some disconnect.
Well, here's the bottom line. You don't need their permission to do this.
That's why I was being told they can't because it's affecting Medicaid, which they say comes under HIPAA. But me and Susan were talking today, and starting on the next meeting, and probably on any of these activities we do in the day, I'm going to bring these along. I'm going to actively look for these people who are there who need, this qualifies for. I want to get their thing. If they're not going to let me help me, I'm going to do it myself. Simple
But
as that.
you can also just talk to other residents and they can fill
Exactly.
the survey out. You don't have to ask them if they're on Medicaid. They don't have to give you any personal information. You can tell them the situation and just ask them the questions. Yes, the facility does not direct this project. This is something that you are most certainly allowed to do. So I want to make that perfectly clear. We don't want to have any problems with facilities, but this isn't something that they control at all. All right. Anybody else? So that was Bill.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Who else do we have? Dan, any comments on that? Jamie just made a good point in the chat. I want to bring that up. She's right. So just because I'm not on Medicaid today doesn't mean I'm not going to be on it in 3 weeks. So that absolutely does not, if the resident wants to fill these out, certainly it's their choice, but it absolutely does not. If they consent to filling this out, they're able to do so. So that's 100% sure. So
Andy,
Dan, yes.
to interject, that Chris has made 2 good points in the chat, indicating that he has the same type of a problem with the VA allowance that he receives, and it is higher. It's $90, but it has been that amount for many, many years. And so
Right.
saying this is another problem.
Yes. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. That's a great point. So, all right. So, our hopes was that the peers that were on, so Dan, have you done this at all? This project? Can you press the unmute?
I went from room to room myself.
Excellent. There you
And-
go.
Excellent.
There you go.
And helped out with everybody. Yep.
What was the feedback from
So-
the resident?
They were all for it. Absolutely.
All right.
But yeah,
So
I mean, once I explained to them what it was, they were very willing to participate in the survey.
Excellent. So, Audrey and Dan, have you had any pushback from the facility for this? From the facility? Any pushback, Dan, Audrey, from the facility asking questions or saying that you can't do that?
No, I haven't had any. They're
Excellent.
actually, they were for it. They understood. I showed them the survey, and they, I wanted to make sure it was kosher with them, whether it was or not. But they said, yeah, go ahead. So no
But
problem.
That is great, but please remember, we do not need your permission to do this.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
very important. Is there a feedback? Am I the only one hearing that? Okay. All right. So, Audrey, no problems with facility staff. They're supporting it.
So far, yeah, they're all for it.
Excellent. Right, and that's wonderful. That's a sign of good administration.
They even helped
Because who
out.
wouldn't
Yes,
want
they
their
did.
residents? I would say that it's not so good of a sign if your administrator and your department heads are not for this, because if we're all on the same team for our residents, of course, we would want this for our
Social
residents, of course.
What?
All
Your
right,
social worker helped.
Yes, she did.
what was that, Audrey?
Our social service, help
And actually,
She has-
Outstanding.
and
That's
activities,
outstanding.
and activities.
Mhm.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
The
you guys
director
said
of
a lot of
activities.
men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's, that's what it's all about. So after this survey process, this phase one, what are your anticipated outcomes of this process? What are your hopes?
Our hopes, first of all, that we're going to get a raise, but second, no, most importantly, that Harrisburg is aware that we don't have enough money for our personal needs.
Yes, I agree with you. And hopefully this will be very effective when we get the actual presentation done. And your voice, maybe they are not aware of this. That's why we need to get there and be talking to these representatives and senators and everything about this. So that's my hope, that we can really be a voice and get the word out there. People don't know. I'm sure there's people on this call right now that had no, that wouldn't know. And Jamie's right. If you don't have a loved one in a facility, most certainly maybe not one that is on Medicaid, you wouldn't know about this. And we're all in this world together. And why would we want to help our fellow human being out that is in a less fortunate position than the rest of us? So that's my thought on that. Bill, do you want to mention or comment on what you're hoping the outcome is going to be?
Truly, I hope that Audrey's right. I hope Harrisburg listens to us, realizes there is a problem here. Let's face it, an average person can't live on $40 a month. You know,
Right.
so I hope that we have the Harrisburg actually listen to us. And maybe
And even like, you think about this, but toothpaste, I know what kind of toothpaste I like. The nursing facilities do have to provide that, but it's generic toothpaste. I've never been to a nursing home that it's not like the grossest toothpaste in the world. So, I mean, it's things like that. That's not too much to ask, and they do, or the shampoos, and some people have perms in their hair and they don't want, or even to get a perm, you would have to use it out of that money. And there goes your money like that. Perms are much more than $40 a month. And I know the ladies like to get a perm. So that is, do you have anything else you want to mention about this, or can we take questions from the BFC?
I have no more question, nothing more to add to that. I don't know about Dan if he has any.
Audrey, do you want to add any final thoughts?
Questions? No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Uh,
I meant the VFC. Does anybody have any questions for our panelists, our super panelists right now? Anything in the chat, Carol?
No, there isn't, but I sort of am curious with our panelists of what would they buy if they had extra money? And what is the number that you're hoping for? Like $85 or $100?
Great question.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Love it.
I think, I don't think $100 is too much to ask for. Because with COVID, everything, the prices have gone sky high with everything. You go to Walmart, which is about the best place to pick up the things that you want. The prices are sky high if they have them. If they have them, they're a little iffy anymore.
Right,
And
right.
but I just think they have got to know that we are hurting. We're
Yes,
hurting.
yes. Excellent.
You
Dan or
can't
Bill, go ahead,
you
Audrey.
can't use the things that you've used your entire life. I'm 85 years old. I've used the same thing for centuries.
Sure, sure.
And I have to ask my daughters to get it for me now. And
Right.
that's not right.
I agree.
They take my $49 a month because I get my hair done every week.
Mhm. Right.
And
And that's
that,
important to you. Mhm.
yep, yeah, very important. I've gotten my hair done once a week for since I was 21 years old.
That's right.
When I got out of nurses training and went to work, I got my hair done.
Dan or Bill, do you have anything to add to that? What are some things that you are not able to buy personally, or how this affects you, this small amount of money, if you want to share?
Some of the items I just buy, I am a computer geek, as my bio said. So if I buy anything for the computer, then I have nothing else.
Nothing left.
If I buy a computer game to play on my computer, there goes all $49 usually. Yeah,
That's a great point. And that's something that adds to your computer. It adds to your quality of life.
Yes.
That's what you enjoy. How about you, Dan? Anything to add? All right.
Yeah, your clothes, the things that you wear, for crying out loud.
Right.
Anything like that. Like I said, I got some hobbies I spend some money on that I like to do too, like Bill was saying, and it just drains everything.
That's a very good point.
That's a very good point.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
And
Was he going to say something, Dan?
yes, I say, go ask for 100. If we get 80, we'll take it.
Oh, we'll take anything. Right, right.
That's all I have.
All right. Very good point. All right. We'll get to this next part then, Jamie.
We do have a comment in the chat from Donna, and she said maybe the residents should stop buying soap and toothpaste, sort of like going on strike. And now she's making a joke, and no underwear.
Right.
To try to make a statement to the administration.
Right, right.
Yeah. And Bill put in here now, he said, yes, he has to buy clothes and toothpaste and batteries also.
Right.
I don't know about going on strike though. Idea.
Right. Yeah, Jamie's right. Batteries are so expensive. My heavens. Yeah. All right. Okay, Jamie, if you want to move on to the next slide. All right, this is a portion that I didn't think I was going to have to do. For the regulars on VFC, you will recognize Terry Moore, who was on every single VFC and sees the opportunity to always be on these. And it's with a heavy heart that I share the news of the passing of a legend in our peer program, Terry Moore. Terry passed away on June 8th after a very brief illness. The amazing advocacy skills that Terry exemplified throughout her career as a peer will never be forgotten. Most recently, she was on a special panel for a national consumer voice. She led the charge on our OAPS project, as well as this most current PNA project, and so much more. Terry volunteered every single time to be a panelist on every one of the VFCs that the peers were on. Not only volunteered, but was dynamic in all her conversations. She was on the Peer Advisory Council and attended almost every regional meeting. Terry led her facility as the resident council president and spearheaded multiple fundraisers while there. She advocated for her fellow residents with great passion and was truly, truly excited to do this project. There was never a job Terry would not accept with a happy heart. Terry not only accepted the challenges, but demonstrated what we train in our peer classes, that what they do is up to them, the sky's the limit. Terry was truly a leader in our peer community. So I want to say peers to you, Terry Moore, and thank you for your service to your fellow residents, and thank you for making a difference. Thank you for being our friend, and know that you made a difference in the lives of many, including mine.
That was beautiful, Candy.
Thank
We're
you,
gonna miss her.
Candy.
Absolutely, Audrey. She was an awesome lady. All righty. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, all of our peers. Even though Virtual Family Council isn't going to meet live anymore, we're going to keep going with all of our peer efforts, and we're going to still be active on our Facebook page. If we need any kind of, announcements to anyone, we're going to still keep doing that on the Facebook page. So please, keep visiting there. We're going to keep things updated. Any new training that comes in from, Justice and Aging, NICLR, Consumer Voice, we're going to be sharing all that. We're going to give updates on this peer survey, hopefully once they're all in. Candy will share her numbers with us and all the great numbers and efforts that the peers have done. And we'll get that to everybody for an update once that gets done in August. So thanks again, everyone. And it has been a pleasure to, work with you during the VFC, our over 3 years. So if you need anything, please reach out to
Thank you.
us. Our contact
We want to thank
information is
you.
on.
We want to thank you, Jamie.
Oh, thank you, Candy. I've
You put a
loved
lot
doing
of
it.
work into this.
Congratulations,
awesome.
Jamie.
This.
Thank you. Couldn't have done it without everybody. It was a great effort. So thank you all. And as I said, if you need us, contact us at the State Ombudsman office, and we'll still be on Facebook and YouTube. So stay in touch. We'll miss everyone, but we'll still be around. So
All
take
right.
care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.